Welcome back, everyone. In 2025, the Earth itself seems restless. Around the Pacific Ocean stretches a 40,000-kilometer belt called the Ring of Fire, home to 90% of the world's earthquakes and more than 450 volcanoes. This year alone, 63 confirmed eruptions came from 58 volcanoes, and 21 new ones just woke up. Scientists call it a warning from below. So today, we'll travel around this fiery circle and explore the 10 nations now standing on nature's front line. This is Micode-TV, and I'm Lucas. Let's dive right in. Number 10. New Zealand. Imagine living in a land where the ground hums beneath your feet and mountains breathe smoke. That's New Zealand, sitting right on the clash between the Pacific and Australian plates. In 2025, Mount Ruapehu erupted again, spitting ash and forcing local alerts. Quakes rippled across the islands, some adding to this year's global tally of major tremors. Even small seabed quakes here can trigger tsunamis. The 1855 Wairarapa quake still shapes today's safety models. Heavy rains also caused landslides and flooding, hurting tourism and farming. Thanks to early warning sirens and national drills by GNS Science, deaths have dropped sharply. Still, remote coastal villages remain at risk. New Zealand's story shows how people balance beauty and danger on the trembling edge of Earth. Number 9. Canada. Now head north to Canada's west coast, where the Ring of Fire cuts beneath British Columbia. Here, two disasters collide. Earthquakes below, wildfires above. In 2025, Canada faced its second worst wildfire season ever. Over 17 million hectares burned. Nearly 100 out-of-control blazes forced mass evacuations and turned cities into smoke zones. Beneath those forests lies the Cascadia subduction zone, capable of giant quakes and tsunamis. Volcanoes in the Garibaldi Arc remain quiet, for now. The smoke crisis hit health, forestry, and tourism hard. Experts call this the start of the Pyrocene era, an age of fire driven by warming. Number 8. Ecuador. Cross the equator to Ecuador, a small country packed with huge risks. Since January 2025, heavy rains caused 1,100 landslides and 1,030 floods, ripping through villages. Then, a 5.6 magnitude quake near the coast shook homes already weakened by water. Volcanoes Cotopaxi and Sangay remain restless, threatening nearby towns. Sitting on the Nazca Plate subduction zone, Ecuador faces earthquakes, tsunamis, and droughts. Roads, farms, and water systems were destroyed, especially in rural and indigenous areas. Partnerships with the Pacific Disaster Center now track quakes and eruptions in real time. With climate change fueling heavier rains, Ecuador's survival depends on rebuilding smarter and greener. Number 7. Taiwan. Taiwan lies at the meeting point of the Eurasian and Philippine sea plates, and in 2025, it barely caught its breath. A 5.9 quake hit the eastern coast in May, and another 5.0 shook Taipei in April. Then, Typhoon Dana struck, killing 2, injuring 334, and cutting power for thousands. Later, another storm swept away 30 people in Hualien. Even tech giants like TSMC had to pause production, shaking global supply chains. Taiwan's annual National Disaster Prevention Day trains millions, but dense cities remain exposed. At the 2025 Asia Disaster Prevention Summit, experts agreed, in this region, every neighbor's alert matters. Number 6. Indonesia. If the Ring of Fire had a heartbeat, it would pound beneath Indonesia. This nation holds over 120 active volcanoes, and in 2025, they roared louder than ever. A massive 6,500 eruptions came from volcanoes like Semeru, Dukono, and Merapi. In October, Mount Lewatobi Laki-Laki blasted ash 10 kilometers high, forcing thousands to flee. Lying where 3 plates collide makes Indonesia the second most disaster-prone country on Earth. Floods and landslides also rose in the north, worsened by shifting rain patterns. Emergency systems improved, but extreme weather stretched resources thin. Tourism and farming both suffered big losses. Indonesia's 2025 ordeal proves that adaptation isn't optional, it's survival. Number 5. Philippines. Next is the Philippines, again ranked number 1 on the World Risk Index in 2025. A 6.9 magnitude quake in Cebu killed 72 people and injured hundreds. Meanwhile, 11 storms slammed the islands, causing 43 billion pesos in damages. The nation's earthquake risk scored 9.7 out of 10, one of the highest worldwide. Volcanoes and tsunamis add even more danger. Weak urban planning and fragile housing make losses worse, yet Filipinos keep rebuilding with courage. Experts warn climate change could make every storm stronger. The Philippines stands as both a victim and a symbol of resilience inside the Ring of Fire. Number 4. Mexico. Mexico guards the eastern rim of the Ring of Fire, and in 2025 it never stopped shaking. A 5.8 quake hit Oaxaca, while smaller ones kept the ground humming. The mighty Popocatépetl volcano erupted 15 times, spewing ash near crowded towns. Along the Pacific coast, tsunamis, hurricanes, droughts, and floods clashed all year. Mexico ranks as the 4th most disaster-prone country, and its capital, built on soft soil, amplifies every tremor. About 90% of disasters here are weather-related, but volcanic and tectonic threats keep rising. Emergency teams now use satellites and strict drills, but unsafe housing still puts lives at risk. Number 3. Japan. Few nations understand the ring like Japan. In 2025, earthquakes, eruptions, and tsunami alerts tested its legendary readiness. Waves from a Kamchatka region quake triggered coastal warnings. Several volcanoes rumbled, and online rumors about doomsday signs briefly panicked the public. Yet Japan's response was flawless: sirens, alerts, and evacuations all on time. Here, multiple plates collide, but fatalities stay low thanks to drills and cutting-edge systems. Even climate change is now part of Japan's national safety plan. Tokyo remains proof that preparation saves lives, no matter how fierce the ring burns. Number 2. Peru. Along South America's spine, Peru faces both mountains and storms. In 2025, floods and landslides struck hard, affecting over 57,000 people and taking lives. A 4.9 quake rattled Andean towns, while volcanoes in the central Andean arc stayed active. Weak infrastructure and hillside homes multiplied the damage. Even national elections were disrupted. Monitoring systems helped, but in Lima, many buildings still ignore quake-safe standards. Peru's experience warns that without better urban planning, nature will always strike first. Number 1. United States. Finally, the United States, stretching from Alaska to Hawaii, sits on some of the ring's most unstable ground. In 2025, scientists tracked rising pressure under axial seamount, hinting at a coming eruption. Research also warned of a 15% chance of a magnitude 8+ quake along the Cascadia Fault within 50 years, powerful enough to trigger a mega tsunami. Natural catastrophes already dominate America's global loss charts. Surveys show 36.5% of citizens fear property destruction from future quakes. Despite world-class monitoring by USGS, the risk remains high, especially in crowded West Coast cities. Even with top technology, the US proves that living on the Ring of Fire means living with uncertainty. So there you have it, 10 nations where Earth's fiery heartbeat shakes daily life. But here's the big question: can technology ever tame nature's fury, or are we just learning to live with it? Tell us your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and tap that bell icon for more stories about our wild and beautiful planet. This is Lucas from Micode-TV, signing off. Thanks for watching, and click on one of the videos to discover more amazing top 10 lists.